for our final grammar mini lesson. Today we're going to be talking about discourse connectors. Discourse connectors are words and phrases that typically connect information in one sentence to information presented in previous sentences. This is often done using subordinators and coordinators. Let's look at some examples. Here we have the sentence, Sonia was discouraged when the committee vetoed her plan. This is our first sentence here. We're going to look for those discourse connectors in the following sentence. This time, however, she was not going to allow herself to be beaten. We can see that this part, this time, however, references the previous sentence. Without the presence of the previous sentence, the sentence, this time, however, she was not going to allow herself to be beaten is unclear. This however helps connect us back to the previous sentence, and this sentence would have a very different meaning if this sentence of Sonia was discouraged when the committee vetoed her plan was not present before the second sentence. Let's look at another example. This has an identifying word for sequence. First you must combine 2 eggs, flour, and sugar in a bowl. Next, pour the vanilla into the mixture while stirring. This type of summary for discourse connectors is very clear. It starts with sequential words and signifiers that are easy to pick up on. Let's see if we can find something in a longer, more complicated example. Last week, the Mountaineers Club tackled the ascent of Mount Hood. In addition to the Idaho members, a few California members showed up for the climb. The climb was a tough one due to the dangerous nature of the terrain. Moreover, the weather was bad, further complicating the climb. This is our first sentence. We know that discourse connectors have to reference a previous sentence, so our first sentence isn't going to refer back to anything. Let's take a look at the second sentence. In addition to. In addition references back to the original Mountaineers Club. We can gather from this sentence that the Mountaineers Club is originally from Idaho, and then some California members came up to show up. This sentence wouldn't make sense. This in addition would not make sense without the previous sentence. The climb was a tough one due to the dangerous nature of the terrain does not seem to hold any discourse connectors. It's a standalone sentence that while is in the context of the previous sentences, does not have any signifiers connecting it back. This next sentence, however, says moreover, building upon what was presented before. Moreover is similar to in addition or additionally. This says the weather was bad, further complicating the climb. The previous sentence was talking about how the climb was a dangerous and a tough one. So this makes sense that moreover connects it back to the previous sentence. All right, your turn to try to tackle this one. Look for discourse connectors in this example. All right, let's go through it together. There are ways in which you might improve your chances of gaining financing for your project. This is our first sentence, so we don't need to worry about looking for discourse connectors. For example, you could try to bring the focus of your research more in line with the goals of our agency. In other words, reference the request for proposals our agency announced on the internet. For example, builds upon the previous sentence. It gives an example for ways that I can improve my chances of gaining financing. So, for example, is a discourse connector. Then we have in other words, which rephrases the sentence before it. It gives a different take on it. It clarifies information, showing us that in other words is also a discourse connector. Discourse connectors are words and phrases that typically connect information in one sentence to information in previous sentences, often using subordinators and coordinators. You all did some excellent work today. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me through all of our grammar mini lessons.